So just under a week to go before the Premier League season starts, 2018-19. We have got a little predictor that BBC have kindly provided us with. So will Manchester City become the first team in 10 years to retain the title? Will the three promoted clubs survive? Predict how you think the table will look. And I'm not going to share it with friends. I'll share it with you lot instead. So, we've got 20 teams here to rank. And as a fan, well, as a Manchester United fan, but as a non-biased Premier League fan, I am going to try and give valid reasons as to why I think each team will finish where they were. And to be honest, I haven't followed the transfer window rigidly. I know the main transfers, but I'm not one of these people. I don't have inside knowledge. I'm just a fan, probably like any of you that are watching. So let's start with the top six. For me, I can't see anyone breaking into the top six. I think they're just so far ahead of the rest. And Manchester City, the first team to reach 100 points ever in the Premier League. And they've signed Riyad Mahrez. That's the big marquee signing. They've not lost any of the main players. And it's very hard to see anyone stopping them. So Manchester City, I think, have to be there. Now, last season, Manchester United were runners-up, Tottenham third, Liverpool fourth. But after seeing how the teams have done so far in the transfer window and in pre-season, I think Manchester City's local challenges, I think Manchester City's main challenges this season, and this is as a Manchester United fan, I think it has to be Liverpool. I think Liverpool have had a brilliant transfer window, and in pre-season even Daniel Sturridge is back in among the goals, and if he's on form he adds something completely different to the team that they've not had in recent years because he's been out injured. But you look at the signings they've made. They've signed Keita, Fabinho. These are top-class players who've done well at top clubs like Leipzig, who finished runners-up in Germany a couple of seasons ago. Fabinho for Monaco, who knocked out Manchester City not so long ago. They've also signed Shaqiri, who I wasn't sure about at the time, but he's still a good squad player to have. And they've signed Alisson in goal, which is a big improvement on what they've currently got. So Liverpool have to be second. Now we've got for three London clubs and for remaining teams of the North West, we've got Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. And Manchester United, I'm not sure how they're going to do this. I can't see them bettering last season, but I still think they're going to have enough to finish in third place. They've signed Dalot, who looks like a replacement for Antonio Valencia. Fred, I don't know much about him, but there's high hopes for him. And Lee Grant from Stoke, he's obviously been brought in as a third choice. They've not lost any of the key players, and if it stays as it is, I think they'll have enough to finish third, but I just don't. I think they're another one or two top signings away from challenging Manchester City and even Liverpool now. And to be honest, the next three, and I don't think many will be expecting this, but we've got the three London clubs. I actually think Arsenal are going to get back into the top four. They've got a new manager. He looks to have been quite shrewd in the transfer window. They've kept on to the top players. They got rid of a bit of deadwood. Mertesackers retired. Cazorla's retired. They've brought in the likes of Torreira, who was good for Uruguay in the World Cup. Lichtsteiner from Juventus, and someone else, I can't remember who it was. But they seem to have a bit of strength in depth, and I think they've got at least as much as Chelsea and Tottenham, so why can't they finish fourth? I think it's going to be close between those three, and I tip Arsenal to do it. So the next two, Chelsea and Tottenham. Chelsea, it looks like Courtois could be leaving for Real Madrid. That'll be a big loss for them because he plays in goal then. Caballero, Robert Green. They're going to have to sign another keeper, really. Did he sign Jordan Pickford? Who knows? Their only big signing is Jorginho, and I don't know too much about him, but he was a target for Manchester City. There's been a bit of unrest with Eden Hazard and Willian as well, and there's been a lot of speculation over them, and Sarri coming in as the new manager. I do worry a bit for Chelsea. I thought they'd have made some more signings. Tottenham, they've signed absolutely no one, and they need more strength in depth, Tottenham. And that's why I don't think they'll finish in the top four. And they have finished in the top four the last few seasons, but they're just not adding anything to the squad. You've got Harry Kane up front. If he gets injured, yeah, they've got Son, but they've got Llorente. They need someone else. They need an extra dimension. They've got Ericsson, Ali, who looked quite poor at the World Cup. Who are they going to bring in? And if it stays as it is, fifth and sixth toss up between Chelsea and Tottenham, and I would have to back. I mean, I can see Sarri being sacked by Christmas, but let's go on for basis that at the moment Courtois is staying at Chelsea and Hazard is staying at Chelsea. I'm going to have Chelsea in fifth and I'm going to have Tottenham in sixth, but really it could change at any time. So, top six, Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham. So, really, best of the rest we have here. Do I work down in seventh place? And one team that really stands out to me as being the best of the rest is Leicester City. They've lost Riyad Mahrez, but they did all right without him in spells last season. It looks like he was going to leave for a while. They've signed Johnny Evans. What a signing that'll be. And if Harry Maguire stays, Evans and Maguire, the top sides are going to have trouble getting past those two. And I really do like the look of Leicester, and I think they will finish in seventh place. In eighth place, I'm going to have West Ham. Pellegrini is a good manager. Jack Wilshere could be a very shrewd signing. They've signed, Adrian Silva from Lazio? He was linked with Manchester United not so long ago. West Ham have got him. Top of my head, who else have they signed? They've made some shrewd signings, and Pellegrini, he did well at Manchester City, and you could even swap these two sides around, but I think Leicester and West Ham will be best of the rest. I can see them reaching around the 50-point mark, late 40s, and yeah, I don't think they'll have any trouble this season. In ninth place, I like the look of Bournemouth. Eddie Howe is slowly building without losing any of his key players. I think Brighton, Chris Hughton, he's shrewd in the market and he's added some strength in depth, and I think they're here to stay. Burnley, I worry about a little bit because all they've added is Ben Gibson and someone from York City, and they've got for Europa League. And the longer they stay in the Europa League, the harder it is for them to. It will be for them to stay in the Premier League. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson is second full season there. I don't think they'll finish for top half, but I think they'll be okay. I think Everton, I expected a bit more from them, and I would have put them in seventh place if they'd made some better signings. But they signed Richarlison for 50 million. He was all right for Watford last season in spells, but 50 million, he's not worth that. Is he even an out-and-out striker? That's what Everton need. They've got too many number 10s and attacking midfielders. Ashley Williams has gone to Stoke, and he was a decent player for them last season. But they've brought in Digne from Barcelona, who a really good signing actually. But they need more. They need another centre back at least. They need another striker. I think they'll have enough to finish in the top half, but I'm still not sure about them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got caught up in the bottom half. But I think they will probably finish in ninth place. So let's go up to 10th place, and Cardiff, I fear for them. Fulham, they've been pretty good in the transfer market. I fear for Huddersfield. Newcastle, I'm not too sure about. Southampton, not top half. I'm going to stick my neck out here. I'm going to put Wolves in the top 10. They've signed Rui Patricio, João Moutinho. They've signed someone on loan from Atletico. They've signed someone from Porto. They have. Could they even do an Ipswich in 2001 and come fifth, come high up and challenge for top sides? I don't think so, because the Premier League has evolved a lot since then. But I think Wolves have enough to stay in this, not only stay in this league, but finish comfortably, finish very comfortably. And I would not be surprised to see them in the top 10. I think they're here for the long haul. They've not gone and spent stupidly. They've spent wisely. And they are my top 10. They are my top 10 sides. Manchester City, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Leicester, West Ham, Everton and Wolves. So we are in for bottom half now. And I think first we're going to have another steady Eddie. We're going to have another steady season from Bournemouth. Yeah, there's nothing to suggest that I think they'll go down. And I think they'll be pretty solid again. 12th place, I like the look of Brighton. I'm going to put them in 12th place. I just feel that they've added strength in depth. They were hard to break down last season. They've got a year's Premier League experience under the belt. They've kept hold of all the best players. And I think they're in for another good season. 13th position, I'm going to go for Southampton. They shouldn't have been in a relegation scrap last season. They should be around, the top of the bottom half with the players they've got. They've not really made any marquee signings. They've not lost anyone, which is unusual for Southampton. It's been a steady summer. That will do them a lot of good. Mark Hughes, get to know his players a bit more. And I think they'll have a comfortable season. And I think they'll finish in 13th place. For 14th position, I'm going to go with Crystal Palace. I think they'll be solid under Roy again. Does what it says on the tin. They won't be spectacular. But, any of these 3-4 sides here, you could swap them around. But I don't think they're going to be dragged into a relegation scrap. But this is where it gets interesting. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. And I think there's going to be 6 sides in the relegation scrap. And those 6 sides are Burnley, Cardiff, Fulham, Huddersfield, Newcastle and Watford. Now, actually, I'm going to have Fulham in 15th place. I like the look of them. And I'm really impressed by the signing of Andre Schürrle, who was at Chelsea not so long ago. And I think he could have had a bit more game time there. And I'm very excited to see how he will be. You could argue that he should be at a team better than Fulham. Looks like they're signing Callum Chambers on loan. They've signed Ben Mawson from Swansea. What Swansea would have been relegated a lot quicker than they were if it wasn't for the likes of Ben Mawson. And they've added strength in depth. They've got Ryan Sessegnon. They've signed Mitrovic on a permanent deal from Newcastle. I really like the look of Fulham, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them pushing a little higher up the table. But the difference between them and Wolves is that Wolves Obviously, they didn't have to rely on the playoffs to get up. They've got stronger financial backing, and I think overall they've got the better players. So, 16th place, I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Burnley. Now, they could be for dark horses to be relegated, Burnley, but it looks like they could be against Olympiacos in the next round of the Europa League. And in my opinion, Olympiacos will win that. Whereas in that case, I think Burnley will probably go higher up the table. But at the moment, I'm going on the basis that they're in the Europa League. It's bound to affect their league form. Look what it did to Birmingham, or was that the season after? I can't remember. But when they got to a final of a cup, Birmingham, it was the League Cup, they were relegated. But I think Sean Dyche will be wise to that. Ben Gibson, absolutely brilliant signing. But, and I think they signed Joe Hart as well, have they? Which is a bit of an odd one because when Heaton and Pope aren't injured, Hart, is he going to be on the bench again? Whereas Hart needs regular football. I worry about Burnley, especially if they're in the Europa League. They need more strength in depth. The squad is thin enough as it is. They need more strength in depth. I think they'll have enough to stay up, but I'm going to put them in 16th place here just because of Sean Dyche. So, for me, there's two teams which are quite a bit below the others, and I can't see them staying up. That's Huddersfield and Cardiff. Now, I think it's going to be a toss-up between Newcastle and Watford to go down, and I'm going to have Newcastle just staying up. They've signed Rondon on loan. He could be a brilliant signing, and they've got Rafa Benitez. They've signed Key as well from Swansea as a decent player. I think that Benitez will keep them up, but any other manager, Newcastle would probably be going down. He's not been given for backing in the transfer window. Ashley is very fortunate that Benitez is still there, and I think they'll just stay up by the skin of their teeth. Watford, I think this season the luck is going to run out. They have a high turnover every season of players going out, players coming in, and it's bound to take its toll at some point. I'm not that convinced by the manager. They'll probably get rid of him by Christmas and then bring a new guy in. But I don't think they're going to have quite enough. I think they'll push Newcastle and Burnley and even maybe Fulham close. But I think Watford are going to be the team that fall just short. So the last two sides, Huddersfield and Cardiff. And I'm going to give Huddersfield the edge. They've signed Lirsel on a permanent deal. Koulibaly from Monaco, who's a great signing for them. But there's nothing there to suggest to me that they are going to stay up this season. David Wagner did a great job, but I just think they're going to fall short. They didn't score enough goals. They've not really rectified that problem. They've not really got. They need to bring in a few more players, but quality. And I think they're going to fall short, which, is a shame to say because I like Huddersfield, but I think they're going to be in for bottom three. And 20th, Cardiff. Warnock, a good Championship manager, hasn't really proved himself in the Premier League. Cardiff, they signed a few Championship players, but it's not going to be enough. They'll give it a good go, but I wouldn't be surprised if they even fail to reach 30 points. I don't think they'll do a derby and finish on 11 points, but I think between 25 to 30 points I can see them finishing, and Huddersfield in for very early 30s. I just don't think they're going to be strong enough. So that's my prediction for where the teams will finish this season. So I've got Manchester City in first place, Liverpool second, Manchester United third, Arsenal fourth, Chelsea fifth, Tottenham sixth, Leicester City seventh, West Ham eighth, Everton ninth, Wolves 10th, Bournemouth 11th, Brighton 12th, Southampton 13th, Crystal Palace 14th, Fulham 15th, Burnley 16th, Newcastle 17th, Watford 18th, Huddersfield 19th, and Cardiff 20th. Let me know in the comments section what your predictions are. Do you agree with what I say, or do you have a differing opinion? Let me know and I'll get back to you.